But she should know. Does anyone remember that time when she got carried away by Hurricane Sandy? Take a look. Thank you. Bizarre video shows a bull casually mounting a scooter and riding it. Wow, would you look at that? Huh? Joy Behar can ride a scooter.
But really, who remembers that wild moment during Hurricane Sandy when things got totally unexpected? Check this out. Applause, thanks. A surprising clip shows a bull casually jumping on a scooter and riding away. Wow, can you believe that? Looks like someone else is stepping up in the scooter game.
I just want to hit myself in the face so I can feel something. You know, it's like so boring. She's like, yeah, I like Instacart, but don't worry, I tip the poors. But, you know, Joy, you actually don't like Instacart and you do like the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store, what I do want, what I don't want. Maybe I want tuna fish and I just want to hit.
Joy Behar had a tough moment on live TV. And no, it wasn't due to the heat or anything cosmetic. Gutfeld and Kat Timpf hit her with sharp comebacks that had more sting than a summer BBQ, let's just say. The only thing left untouched was her chair, and even that looked a little uncomfortable. What exactly set Joy off like that at a no-carb brunch? Strap in, because this moment got messier than her last joke.
Joy Behar accused Elon Musk of being pro-apartheid, but then begged him afterwards not to sue. Musk lawyers have yet to comment because they're still checking to see if it's legal to sue a cow.
Shots fired.
Just a legal question. I don't know why it's so upsetting. I don't make the rules in this country.
It began like any other afternoon on a network still holding on to the idea that it delivers serious news. A familiar panel of lively TV hosts nodding together with practiced enthusiasm. Each one eager to outshine the next with bold reactions. Their shared opinions floated through the air like oversized balloons, loud, colorful, and more dramatic than impactful, as if their debates alone could shift tides or convince the audience that this was the peak of meaningful conversation.
The feral monsters of The View say they've never heard of you-know-who. True, the show that makes mornings hell claim that my name doesn't ring a bell. It's time for
Our View on The View. Ugh.
Yeah, the witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
They said that Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he? Really, who is he?
I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the
never
show.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
No. Next, Joy's gonna say she's never heard of carbs.
And right at the heart of the discussion was Joy Behar once again, daytime TV's most recognizable voice, delivering another high-energy, drama-filled commentary. It felt like an audition for the lead role in a political spotlight. Every word was packed with emotion, every gesture amplified to the max, as if she truly believed the world's future depended on how passionately she could make her point.
Her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar's moo-moo. And the motives stink worse than Joy Behar's jog bra. I mean, assuming she jogs. Oh, wait, there she is.
But this time, things took an unexpected turn. While Joy was busy turning her segment into a passionate display of intensity, two very different voices across town were getting ready. Gutfeld and Kat Timpf, pros at sharp wit and calm comebacks, were quietly preparing a response so cutting, so effortlessly cool. It felt like the mood in Joy's studio shifted before a word was even said. The calm before the storm had arrived, and the tension was impossible to ignore.
No, I'm also not surprised that there's one part of the video from the show yesterday that you left out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, can we roll that, please?
I don't watch the show that much, but I've seen it.
Who is that?
Who is that?
Greg Gutfeld's one of the hosts of The Five, who, if I don't have anything nice to say, I generally don't say anything at all. I would just say that his show should be called Kat Timpf, not Gutfeld, because she's the funny one on it.
Somebody's flirting with little Kat over here.
Well, she's the Republican one at the table, but I just think as a libertarian, I'm always looking to find common ground with other people because nobody really shares my politics. So I find some common ground in The View where she thinks I'm funny and I agree.
Her approach wasn't about volume or theatrics. It was all about using wit and irony with precision, cutting through the noise like a well-aimed spotlight. Even the coffee mugs on Joy's packed table, seasoned veterans of spirited debates and on-air fireworks, might have sensed this was no ordinary day. This wasn't just another panel, it felt like a turning point. Joy, long known for her high-energy takes on politics, has built her brand on treating every debate like a scene from a classic drama. Her style, always at full intensity, includes bold expressions, pop history moments, and reactions that rival soap stars. In her world, she's the bold truth teller. To others, maybe the seatmate you quietly avoid on a long flight. Enter Greg Gutfeld, calm, collected, and razor-sharp. His specialty? Calling out chaos without raising his voice. It's like satire is his second language. And in this episode of Joy Spins Out, he wasn't just part of the moment, he was setting a new standard.
Here's Joy Behar talking about refusing to share a kidney.
I find that friends with a Trump supporter. I won't give them a kidney, but I could be friends with them.
Hey, Joy, it's a kidney, not a pizza. Of course, she's kidding at first, but then she goes on to explain the moral foundation for her resentment, and it's the same one that drives all deadly ideology.
Gutfeld didn't need props, a podium, or to raise his voice. Just a few perfectly timed remarks and that signature smirk, the one that says, not angry, just highly entertained. What makes Gutfeld's style so effective is that he doesn't match drama with more drama. He simply reflects it back, letting it unravel naturally. And unravel it did. His commentary was so sharp and calmly delivered, it made Joy's usual intensity feel more like a moment of overreaction. He didn't portray her monologue as brave or groundbreaking, but rather as an overacted scene from someone treating daytime TV like a global summit. He wasn't debating, he was diagnosing. And when the diagnosis is unchecked ego, there's not much to add. If Greg was the scalpel, Kat Timpf was the finishing move. With her signature wit and clear logic, she dismantled Joy's entire routine like she was sorting laundry. No yelling, no jabs, just calmly pointing out the obvious, like a top student gently correcting a confused teacher.
If The View is your favorite show, you might be a little slow. Yes, it's time for
Our view on The View.
very serious music. They love to play the race card because logic for them is hard. On Monday's episode, the ladies tackled the Rittenhouse not guilty verdict, and true to their feckless form, their reaction was something.
Timpf's response to Joy's commentary was practically surgical. Where Joy leaned on volume, Kat used precision. Where Joy launched into long monologues, Kat delivered one-liners so sharp. They left the room stunned, like everyone was waiting to see what Joy would do next. She reframed Joy not as a bold voice for justice, but as someone caught in a loop, where spotlight took priority over substance, and emotional appeal outweighed clear arguments. And once that illusion cracked, it crumbled fast. What remained wasn't a powerful presence, but a confused figure holding cue cards and hoping the applause light still meant something. The reaction was immediate. Joy didn't respond because there wasn't much to respond to. This wasn't a debate. It wasn't a clash of views. It was a reality check, a one-way intellectual takedown, and the subject didn't even notice until it was over. Media outlets scrambled to recast the moment. Of course they did. Words like unfair, harsh, and problematic popped up across headlines, an effort to rewrite what just unfolded. But the internet saw the moment clearly. They saw Joy completely outmaneuvered by two people who barely had to raise an eyebrow.
Escalated, you guys. Last week, I said I agreed with the guest on The View. This week, I actually agreed with the host on The View. And not just because I'm off my medication. Don't worry, I'm not going to give the show too much credit because what was actually said on the show was not at all controversial. Watch.
All we have to do from now until January 21st is be with our families, be with our kids, do our jobs, make sure our checks don't bounce, make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and our families.
January 21st, who gets that much time off? But other than that, there's no way anyone could have a problem with what she said, right? Except this is The View, so of course someone did. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna give the show even less credit because someone else on the show did see this as controversial, and
It's not just about this one moment. It's about what the moment reveals. Joy Behar represents a certain type of media personality. Someone who's mistaken attention for influence, volume for value, and applause for accuracy. This is the same crowd that panics over harmless jokes and treats memes like national threats. Greg and Kat expose that, not with outrage, but by showing the difference between genuine insight and performative commentary. And audiences, they're tired. Tired of being talked down to by hosts who still think shaving equals truth. Tired of expecting thoughtful discussion and getting soap opera energy instead. Tired of watching passion replace preparation. Joy's quiet unraveling wasn't loud, but it was powerful. It wasn't her words, it was the shift in presence. The moment the polished image slipped, so did the illusion of authority. She wasn't shouted over, she was simply outshined. And here's the twist, Gutfeld and Timpf weren't even trying that hard. That's what made it hit harder. They weren't targeting her, just sharing their takes and letting her own on-air habits do the rest. It was like watching someone debate a mirror, then blame the reflection when it laughed back.
That's a point. Maybe I am obsessed, but some people are obsessed with Bigfoot, and they don't get to see him on TV every afternoon. And if they did, could they tell the two apart? I don't know. But yeah, it's true. I am obsessed with her the way a mongoose is obsessed with...
The real impact wasn't in what was said, but how clear it all became. Joy Behar's hold on relevance now feels like it's held together by little more than hope and denial, that her style of on-air outrage doesn't inspire, but tires viewers. She's become the very thing she often criticizes, a caricature of herself, and the timing couldn't be worse. In a time when audiences crave authenticity, Joy's performance feels about as real as a 3 a.m. infomercial. Meanwhile, Gutfeld and Timpf served up reality checks with comedic precision that could almost be called therapeutic. The reaction, both online and off, was overwhelming. Clips of the moment went viral faster than any of Joy's past outbursts. Memes popped up everywhere. And then came the silent treatment. Joy, usually a fountain of opinions, went completely quiet. No witty replies, no fiery responses, just silence, like a sitcom laugh track suddenly cut off. When your whole brand is built on noise, silence speaks louder than anything else.
All right, Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was. They're like, well, the cicadas, they're cicadas. Okay, but it was like every 100 years. No, it's every 17 years. Do you know how many Emmys this show has? 31.
31 Emmys?
This show has 31. I mean, I'd hate to see the conversations that don't make headlines.
She could have tried to take back the story. Maybe use some self-deprecating humor or shared a moment of reflection. But instead, the lights went down and the stage stood empty. Not because anyone pushed her off, but because the act couldn't hold up under the spotlight. Joy Behar wasn't just outmatched in a debate. She wasn't simply out-argued. She was overshadowed by contrast, standing next to people who didn't need to shout, didn't need to grandstand, and didn't need to fake passion. All they had to do was point and smile. Suddenly, the Emperor's new clothes weren't missing. They'd never been there at all. The takeaway is clear. In today's world, the loudest voice isn't the strongest. It's the one most visible and most vulnerable. Joy tried to roar, but Greg and Kat didn't roar back. They just held up a mic and let the audience hear the echo. And now the curtain is closing on a certain kind of daytime drama. The old formula, outrage plus volume equals influence, is fading like a rerun nobody's watching. Viewers want more. They want humor that lands, commentary that makes sense, and sarcasm that bites without yelling. In the end, this wasn't a fight, or a feud, or even a showdown. It was a vibe check, and Joy Behar didn't pass. This wasn't a dramatic scandal or a mic drop moment. Joy Behar's unraveling happened quietly, hilariously, and in full view of a nation skilled in cringe watching. Her carefully crafted persona, the all-knowing fiery daytime truth-teller, collapsed like a Jenga tower built from soggy takes and misplaced confidence. And the best part, no one had to push it over. All it took was comedy, sarcasm, and plain common sense. This wasn't a classic takedown. No shouting matches, no social media battles, no last-ditch Twitter threads full of fury. Her fall was self-inflicted, a slow-motion dive into the swamp of overblown ego. And it was glorious. Joy spent years building the image of a fearless truth-teller, a wise elder holding court in daytime TV, sweeping dissent aside like a judge in a courtroom. But somewhere along the way, the vibe shifted. What once